Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to explore something a little different, quantum races. Lessons from the Finish Line.
Oh, interesting.
It's by B.C. Guy, also known as Shahzad Sheikh, who you might know. He's a motoring journalist.
Okay.
Yeah. But this book, it's not your typical, car book.
Great.
It's like 13 short stories, all kind of bundled together, and they're all about, possible futures
Oh, wow.
where humanity's facing these challenges, and they're the kind of challenges that kind of make you go, whoa, like, is that where we're headed?
You know what I think is really cool about this book?
What's that?
Well, it's that it's, not just about like cool gadgets and spaceships and all that futuristic stuff. It's about like us.
Right.
It's about how we react to all these crazy advancements and like the choices we make, good, bad, and the consequences.
And all the unexpected things that spin out from those choices,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. BC Guy. He's holding up a mirror to humanity, kind of making us ask, like, who are we and where are we going with all this?
Yeah, and he does that right away, like
Yeah.
right from the get-go. He throws us into this world where technology and nostalgia, they clash.
Uh-huh.
He paints this picture of, well, a future where everybody's plugged into virtual reality
I can see that.
and everything has to be super efficient, like you vintage cars, banned.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, what if all this progress comes at a cost,
Yeah.
The cost of our passions, the things we love.
Interesting. So you've given us a couple stories to kind of dive into here.
Yeah.
We meet this character, Rick. He's an environmental enforcement agent. Like the irony, right? He's
Right.
out there enforcing these environmental rules, but then in his free time, he's secretly restoring this classic 1968 Ford Mustang.
Oh, that's right.
I was thinking about that. Like, is this just a story about a guy and his car, or is it saying something more about like our human need for real experiences? We've got the virtual world everywhere, but do we still crave something real?
That's a great question.
Oh.
And it's not even just Rick and his passion.
Right.
It's like the whole story is highlighting this tension,
Mm-hmm.
between individual freedom and what society is trying to control.
Oh, I see.
So it kind of pushes you to think about, where is that line? Like, in a world where technology can watch everything we do, how much are we really willing to give up just to have,
Yeah.
efficiency and order?
I get it, yeah. And then you mentioned that other story, the day they came for our cars. That one's even, like, darker when it comes to control.
That's right.
It's told from a child's point of view, so it's extra impactful,
Yeah.
And it shows what these rules and regulations, they look good on paper, but what do they really do to families? A father gets taken away because he owns a car that's not, quote-unquote, compliant. It's scary to think about how fast things can go wrong when, people's basic rights are just ignored.
It is a little terrifying, actually. And it brings us back to that idea of nostalgia, doesn't it? If we've got technology that can give us any experience, like virtually, why would we still be clinging to a vintage car or something from the past?
Yeah, why would we?
Is it just, sentimentality? Is it some kind of rebellion?
Mm-hmm.
Or is there something even, like, deeper going on there?
Well, reading these stories, it feels like BC Guy is hinting that we, as humans, we need connection. We need real, tangible things we can touch, things that ground us.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the little imperfections, the history that's baked into those objects, Like you get a perfectly simulated experience, but maybe it's those flaws that make us feel truly alive.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah.
And speaking of unexpected encounters, there's this story, Alien Invasion Target Burge. And it flips the script on everything we think about first contact. Instead of aliens showing up in, like, New York or D.C.,
Yeah.
guy drops them right in Dubai.
Oh, interesting.
And their target,
Mm.
the Burj Khalifa, that massive skyscraper.
Wow. What do you make of that choice of setting, instead of the typical targets? I mean, at first glance, it seems random, right?
It does.
But think about it. Dubai, it's all about ambition, pushing boundaries, technology, and it's a melting pot of cultures.
Yeah.
So maybe BC Guy is saying, hey, in the future, the whole global power structure, it's going to shift. Places like Dubai, they're going to be the new centers of everything.
And the weird thing is, and this is a total spoiler alert, but the aliens, these KJR Empire folks, they never actually attack.
Really?
It's like they show up, do a little flyby, maybe test our defenses, see how we react, and then poof, they're gone.
So what happens?
Well, the story ends with this crashed drone they left behind and just a mountain of questions. Like, was the whole thing a hoax?
Oh, wow.
Or did, like, Earth's technology somehow scare them off? It just leaves you hanging.
I'd be flipping through those pages, trying to find some clue, some hidden meaning. That's frustrating, but also kind of brilliant.
Right.
Makes you face the unknown, embrace the uncertainty. That's probably what a real alien encounter would feel like, not knowing what's coming next. Makes you wonder if BC Guy is like nudging us to rethink our own ideas about aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Do we just jump to like, they're hostile, they're gonna invade?
Yeah.
Or could there be like a peaceful, coexisting thing, even if it's like a little tense and uncertain?
That's a good point, which actually reminds me of these other two stories. They kind of flip that whole alien invasion thing on its head.
Okay, which ones?
So there's preemptive strike. In this one, we see everything from the aliens' point of view.
Okay.
They stumble upon Earth and,
Yeah.
they're checking us out. And they realize, whoa, these humans, they could be a real problem.
Oh, I see where this is going.
And so the whole story, it's about their dilemma. Do they attack first, play it safe? Or do they wait and see how we develop and risk, well, their own destruction?
It's a pretty chilling thought, to be honest.
It is.
To be judged like that, by some other civilization, especially if they don't really get us, all our complexities, good and bad.
Right.
Makes you think about our own history, right? All wars and stuff. Like, if the tables were turned, if we were the advanced ones, would we do the same ththing?
It's a question that sticks with you, for sure. And then, to flip it even more, you've got alien resurrection. This really, it's kind of a sad story. It's about this guy, Dave, who wakes up on, get this, an alien spaceship. And he has no memory.
Oh, wow. Classic.
But as he's, wandering around this ship, he figures out the truth.
Which is?
Humanity is gone. Wiped itself out.
Oh, no. So what's he doing there?
Yeah, so the aliens, they kind of reveal to him that he's like a museum exhibit. Like a relic of this species that self-destructed. It's a pretty powerful reminder of how fragile we are and how our actions, whether it's personal stuff or, global things, they can have massive consequences. It's almost like BC Guy has given us this sneak peek into a future we dodged by, a hair.
Yeah.
But the big question is, if we got a do-over, would we just repeat the same mistakes?
Right.
Or could we actually learn from what happened and build something better?
I think that's the common thread running through all these stories we've talked about, this idea of responsibility.
Yeah.
Like in, okay, Nassau, it's about being true to yourself, even if it goes against the grain.
Right.
Then the day they came for our cars, it's reminding us that those in power, they have a responsibility to protect people's freedom,
Yeah.
And then these alien stories, preemptive strike and resurrection, it's like, hey, we're responsible for our own future.
Our destiny.
Exactly. We've got to shape it so it doesn't end in, total self-destruction.
Powerful stuff. But, it's not all heavy and thought-provoking.
Oh.
BC Guy throws in some stories that are just pure fun, like Camel Ball Run.
What's that about?
It's set in Middle East. This guy, Sheikh Mansour Al-Falasi, he enters this crazy illegal race across the desert.
What kind of car?
A souped-up Rolls-Royce Phantom.
No way.
It's wild. It's all about taking risks, pushing limits, and, the thrill of competition. And it's a nice break from the heavier stuff. Like BC Guy is reminding us to let loose, have some fun, right?
Definitely. What else?
Oh, and then there's the Inquilab. This one's set in colonial India, a bit of a head-scratcher.
In what way?
It's got this mix of mystery, history, even a touch of the supernatural.
Okay.
So we've got these two friends, Jai and Vijay, fighting for freedom against British rule.
Makes sense.
But here's the twist. Jai can become invisible.
Whoa. How?
That's part of the mystery. It's a story about rebellion, friendship, and how technology can be used in unexpected ways.
It sounds like BC Guy is using that invisibility as a metaphor,
How?
Well, it's like, even when you're up against a powerful force, there's always a way to resist, to challenge the status quo.
Right, it's a good point. And finally, there's the Marineris Hotel. This one takes us to Mars.
Mars, okay.
Yeah. This entrepreneur, Sigard, he's built the first hotel on the Red Planet. Super ambitious, right?
It is.
But this story, it's different. It's not so much about action and adventure, but more about, like, this internal struggle.
Internal struggle.
Yeah, Sigard, he's achieved his dream, built this amazing hotel, but he's starting to wonder, was it worth it?
I can see that.
He's dealing with financial pressure, the responsibility of it all, and he's just, well, kind of disillusioned.
Sounds like a cautionary tale,
It does, doesn't it?
About chasing ambition, the importance of balance. Like, sometimes getting what you want doesn't mean you'll be happy.
Right? Sometimes the journey changes you.
It makes you think, What are we all chasing after, and when do we stop and say, wait, is this even what I want?
It does. Going through all these stories, all these possibilities BC, guy throws at us, it's like he's holding up this kaleidoscope.
I like that.
All these little pieces, these glimpses of different futures, they all show us something about, well, about us.
The good, the bad, the messy.
Exactly. And the thing is, he doesn't give us any easy answers, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's not preaching, not telling us what to think. He just lays out these scenarios, and it's like, okay, what do you think?
Right. It's on us to figure it out, to connect those dots.
And that's what makes quantum races so cool. It's not just reading, it's thinking, it's arguing with yourself, with the author.
Yeah, you're wrestling with these ideas.
You're challenging what you thought you knew about, well, about everything.
So, as we wrap up, I'm curious, what's the biggest takeaway for you? What's that one lesson from quantum races that really sticks with you?
I think it's that, the future, it's not set in stone. We're creating it every day with the choices we make. Every little decision adds up.
Both personally and, like, as a whole society.
Exactly. And yeah, we can't control everything that happens, but we're not powerless either. We have a say in which direction we're heading.
It's a reminder to think about the consequences, right?
To be more aware, more deliberate.
And to step up and take responsibility for the kind of world we want to leave behind.
Absolutely. And even when things seem, overwhelming, there's always hope. We can learn from the past, adapt, and create something better.
I like that. Hope for the future.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's safe to say BC Guy's Quantum Races. It's more than just sci-fi, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. It's like a reflection of us, all our hopes and fears about what's to come.
And it's a reminder that the future, it's not just something that happens to us, it's something we make.
That's a great way to put it.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive.
Always a good time exploring these ideas.
Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.